Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hope everyone is doing well. We've had the 3 o'clock kickoffs of game week 6 and a lot has happened. Everton keeping Liverpool to a 0-0 tight draw. Chelsea yet again conceding and not keeping a clean sheet. An absolute goal fest at Forest and Brentford. The main questions sort of coming out of this game week really are, should we keep Salah and should we keep Trent, especially after Trent got subbed in the 59th minute. If you are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, really does help me out. Today we're just going to be taking a look at a few players ahead of game week 7, the ones who you could potentially be transferring in. So firstly, taking a look at midfielders. Now I've got Zaha in as the number 1 spot. Didn't really do anything against Newcastle, but got some decent fixtures coming up, and he currently sits third highest in terms of the league in terms of XG. Mitrovic and Haaland, the actually only 2 above him. Obviously Haaland absolutely smashing it so far this season. The bonus with Zaha is that he is on penalties for Palace, and I think in that price bracket he is sort of clear of anyone else. The 8 million options so far this season really haven't been impressing, and the 7 millions not too really. And with Rodrigo being injured and most people owning Martinelli already, I think Zaha is a standout option in terms of that. Now, if you are thinking of getting rid of Salah, then we move into a different question. I think then De Bruyne is probably your best option. The City game is literally about to kick off. De Bruyne starting, so we'll see how he does in that, and he could easily move top of this list. Then I would say Sterling didn't score today against West Ham, but is effectively playing up front for Chelsea at the minute, and his form for Chelsea has been pretty decent. Now, one thing with saying that is that Aubameyang is probably going to come in pretty soon and slot into that striker spot. So could we see a little bit of rotation from Tuchel, maybe taking Sterling out? I doubt we would see that. I think Sterling is so versatile that you can literally play him on the left, through the middle, and on the right as well. Rashford I've put in there as the number 3 spot, just as one to watch. You know, he has been playing up front recently for Manchester United, and that is kind of what we're looking for from FPL assets. We're looking for players that play, you know, kind of out of their positions in positive ways and are obviously getting attacking return, which Rashford has been doing recently with the signing of Antony. Is that going to push the Manchester United attack even further forward? Then finally, you can see there I've got Brendan Aronson for Leeds. Now, obviously, Leeds have just been battered today, conceding 5. The interesting thing about Aronson is that he's the only attacker from Leeds who managed to stay on the pitch for 90 minutes. That kind of shows the faith that Jesse Marsch does put into him, and it's mainly because they play against Nottingham Forest at home in game week 7. Forest so far this season have been the worst defence. They're expected to score about 2.5 goals per game. So if you have a transfer lying about and you fancy, you know, going for maybe a little bit of punt for game week 7, then I think Aronson is your guy. A lot of people going to be transferring out Salah, as I've mentioned so far. It's a tough one for me because he does play against Wolves in the next game at home, which is arguably quite a good fixture. So I think it'll be tough to transfer him out. But then again, the likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Sterling, the likes of Zaha, you could genuinely go from Salah to Zaha, and it actually be a positive move for you. Zaha has Manchester United and Brighton in the next two teams that have been defending well recently, but 2 teams that he does love to score against. Then moving on into the attackers, and there is only one man who could be top of this list today, and that is Ivan Toney, scoring a very nice hat-trick against Leeds and 5 goals overall in that game. It was just a very clean performance from Brentford. Toney rewarding those managers who stuck with him after transferring him in the previous week after he did blank. It was quite funny because Toney this week has actually received a price drop, and I expect that's just going to go straight back up to 7.2 million. The man second there, Mitrovic, 6 goals in 6 from him. It's been fantastic so far this season to actually see him kind of reach the potential that everyone sort of, knew he kind of had, but didn't really show in the previous time that he was in the Premier League. And if you did back Mitrovic from the start, then you've absolutely smashed it, to be honest. Now, they do play against Chelsea in their next game. It is at home, and Fulham do love a goal at home, and Chelsea have been shipping goals. So for Mitrovic, actually, I wouldn't mind transferring him in for game week 7, but for game week 8, I think he's pretty much a must-have. They play against Forest. As I've already mentioned, Forest are the worst defence in the league, so for game week 8, definitely be looking out for Mitrovic. Then Kane, definitely one to look at as well. If you've got the 2 free transfers, you could drop Salah to any one of the players that I've mentioned in the midfield, and then give yourself a bit of money to free up for Kane, because Kane has been, Mr. Consistent so far this season, getting some assists, getting some goals, but arguably for the money, you could definitely say that Tony and Mitrovic are, doing just as well in terms of getting goals and assists, and are much cheaper as well. Now, I've tagged on Solanke and Johnson as well there. I feel like, Tony, Mitrovic and Kane are the 3 main options that I'm going for. And Solanke this week, just because how well he performed in that Forest game, scoring an absolutely beautiful goal at picking up an assist as well. Now, Bournemouth don't actually have too bad of fixtures going forward, and if you are looking for a budget option, he does come in at 5.7 million. The same with Johnson. He is nice and cheap and cheerful. And Forest going forward, from a defensive perspective, they don't look good, but from an attacking perspective, they don't look too bad, and they do play against Leeds, who have just shipped 5 goals, and then Fulham, who, can score goals, as we've mentioned, but do also concede them. Now, I think it is a discussion really about, who takes that 3rd striker spot. If we could have 4 striker spots this year, I think people genuinely would be filling them up, because we have Haaland as the main option, and then probably Jesus as well. It's very hard to justify taking Jesus out at this point. Then it's who do you go for in that 3rd striker spot? Do you go for Tony and Mitrovic, my top 2 at the minute? Personally, I'd probably move to Mitrovic. It's just because of how well Tony has done this game week that he gets that number 1 spot. But yeah, tough decision to make in the attacking spots. But it's nice to see that the 3rd attacking spot is well and truly back. Then moving on into the defenders. Now, the defences so far this game week have not done particularly well. You've had Liverpool keep the clean sheet, but the majority of their defenders who FPL managers own didn't actually play. Then Everton doing pretty well to keep a clean sheet as well. And then Newcastle and Crystal Palace both keeping clean sheets. Talking of Newcastle, Trippier, the number 1 spot for me. He's been doing very well so far this season, picking up another clean sheet and another bonus point. On top of that, it seems to be that whenever Newcastle keep a clean sheet, he is well and truly up there for the bonus points. He was taking a lot of corners today, a lot of free kicks, so it's only a matter of time before he does haul, grabs a goal or grabs an assist and picks up a clean sheet and sends you absolutely flying. The man in second there, Anderson for Crystal Palace, managing to keep himself a clean sheet today and pick up 2 bonus points. Palace have kept a couple of clean sheets so far this season, and he has actually picked up a goal as well, so he does have that attacking threat. And Palace don't have too bad of fixtures going forward. Manchester United and Brighton in the near future. Patterson for Everton, your kind of budget value coming in at 4 million. Everton have really shored up at the back with the signings of Connor Cody and James Tarkowski. And Patterson, only 20 years of age, is looking very solid at the back as well. I can see Everton actually going forward, picking up a fair few clean sheets. When they've conceded so far this season, they've only conceded 1 goal. They've not conceded any more than 1 goal so far this season. So I think we can expect a few more clean sheets from Everton. So if you're looking for that budget 5th option, potentially go for Patterson. Nico Williams also looking good. Did pick up an assist today. But the thing with Nico Williams and Forest is that, as I've mentioned so many times so far, is that Forest don't look likely to keep a clean sheet. And when you're picking a defender, that is the very first thing you should be considering. So Patterson, currently I would pick over Nico Williams. Diogo Dalot in number 4 there. Obviously, Manchester United have not played so far this game week, but definitely one that I'm looking out for. Coming in at 4.4 million in the previous 2 games, managing to pick himself up 3 bonus points each time, and that is absolutely massive. If you can have a player that, whenever they keep a clean sheet, they get 3 bonus points, that's just going to send you absolutely flying. And at 4.4 million, definitely one to look out for. And if Manchester United continue the form that they have picked up in the last 3 games, I think Diogo Dalot could become pretty essential in most people's team. And then the 5th man I've tagged on in there is Kilman. Now, Wolves don't have the best fixtures going forward with Manchester City and Liverpool in the next two. But to be fair, Liverpool haven't actually looked that great from an attacking perspective, so I don't actually mind Wolves too much going into this game. They picked up 3 clean sheets so far this season, Wolves, and are looking a bit more like the Wolves teams we've seen in the past. You know, that kind of solid at the back counter-attacking team, managing to pick up a win today against Southampton. I think that Kilman could be a nice little gem going forward. And that is the kind of watch list that I've picked out for this game week. Let me know it down in the description, players that you are thinking of bringing in. I think a lot of people, as mentioned, will be shipping out the likes of Trent and Salah this game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see their prices drop in the near future. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out, and it's just a click away. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.